Millionaire caught a poor boy dancing with his paralyzed daughter. What he did next changed everything. It started with music faint, crackling through an old portable speaker, tucked behind the garden hedge. She sat still in her wheelchair by the glass wall, unmoving, unsmiling as always, until he appeared. A boy barefoot, clothes faded, arms wide open like wings. He didn't see her father watching from the study upstairs. The boy spun gently on the marble tiles just outside the garden, dancing alone. For her, and for the first time in 3 years, her fingers twitched. Her head turned slightly, and a smile so fragile it almost broke appeared on her lips. Her father blinked. The nurse gasped softly, but neither said a word. The next afternoon, the boy came again. Same time, same song. This time she moved her wrist, and she laughed. A sound that hadn't been heard in this house since the accident. Her father, billionaire Mr. Ellis Hawthorne, stood still, stunned. Why my daughter? The boy tilted his head. She looked lonely. That answer hit something. A crack. Small, but real. Leo shifted his weight. She doesn't talk, but her eyes, they smile. Ellis leaned forward. Do you know who I am? Leo nodded. You're the man who stopped believing in magic. Silence. Thick. Heavy. Ellis stood. Dismissed him. But that night, he didn't sleep. And the next morning, when the music played again, he didn't stop it. He watched from the same window as Leo danced again. And this time, his daughter lifted her arm and clapped. A single clap. But to Alice, it sounded like thunder. And from that moment on, Leo came back every day. Not because anyone asked him to, but because something invisible tied him to that window. To that girl in the wheelchair who never spoke, never moved, yet watched him like he was the only color in her world. By the end of the week, she was smiling. By the end of the month, she was laughing soft, broken giggles that the nurses said they hadn't heard in years. The doctors were baffled. Ellis was skeptical, but Leo didn't care. He kept dancing, even when his shoes wore down to nothing, even when the rain soaked his shirt or snow dusted his shoulders. He danced like his soul depended on it. And maybe it did. One evening, as the sun poured gold through the windows, the girl finally spoke. One word, again. Ellis, watching from behind the curtain, dropped his glass. He hadn't heard her voice in 6 years. Not since the car accident. Not since her mother died. Not since the light left both their worlds. He burst through the door, unable to believe it. Did you just... She turned her head slowly, eyes still on Leo. I want to dance, too. Leo smiled, bowed, and said softly, then I'll teach you. In that moment, Ellis saw something he hadn't seen in decades, not just a boy saving a girl, but a boy saving them all. Ellis didn't sleep that night. He sat alone in the home theater, rewatching old family videos of his daughter before the accident, laughing, dancing, spinning in the grass with her mother's scarf in hand. Back then, her laughter was loud, and Ellis, he actually smiled more than he shouted. But the accident took everything. His wife was gone instantly. His daughter paralyzed. And him, he just stopped feeling Until that boy, Leo, he wasn't just lifting her spirit. He was awakening something Ellis had buried deep. By morning, Ellis made calls. He doubled the staff, replaced her outdated wheelchair, hired a physical therapist. "Why now, sir?" one nurse asked. Ellis didn't answer. He simply said, "She wants to dance." And for the first time in years, he showed up for her therapy. He sat by the piano as Leo counted steps, and gently helped her shift weight on one foot. Progress was slow, but it was happening. One evening, Leo arrived late, out of breath, shirt torn. Ellis noticed the bruises peeking through his collar. "Where have you been?" Ellis asked. Leo lied. Sighed he slipped running, said he was fine. But Ellis had seen bruises like that before. He'd caused some in his past, not physically, but through his cold absence. So he followed Leo home that night, silently, just to make sure. And what he saw broke every last shard of the wall he'd built around his heart. Leo wasn't poor. He was surviving. In a tent behind an old warehouse. No father, no mother. Just an old photo of a woman and a journal that said, "Dancing keeps the hurt out." Ellis returned home and didn't speak for hours. He stared at the fireplace, thinking about all the money he had and all the warmth Leo had given for free. And that night, Ellis made a decision that would change both their lives forever. The next morning, Leo arrived as usual, smiling. Despite the fresh bruise on his cheek, he didn't complain. He just took Ava's hand and asked, "You ready to try that turn again?" Ava nodded. Her hands trembled, but her eyes had that fire again. Ellis watched from the hallway. This time not hidden, not distant. When Ava nearly stumbled, Leo caught her like he always did. And this time Ellis stepped forward. "You need another hand?" he asked. Leo looked up, surprised. Ellis had never spoken to him so kindly before. "Sure," Leo said, offering a shy grin. Together, they helped her take that next step. Just one, but it was everything. After the session, Ellis asked Leo to stay. "There's something I want to show you," he said. They got into the car. No words. Just quiet music and city streets. Ellis pulled up to a brownstone freshly painted, sunlight hitting it just right. "Whose place is this?" Leo asked. Ellis handed him a key. "Yours." Leo blinked. Thought it was a joke. "Sir, I can't." "You can," Ellis interrupted. "No more tents. No more bruises. Just one condition: you keep dancing. Not just for Ava, for yourself." Leo's voice cracked. "Why are you doing this?" Ellis finally looked him in the eyes. "Because someone once gave me a second chance, and I wasted it. I won't waste this one." Leo moved in that same night. A room of his own. A bed, a real shower. He cried the first time he turned on the tap just from the warmth. Days turned to weeks. Ava laughed more, walked more. Ellis smiled more. And every Sunday the three of them danced. Clumsy offbeat, full of heart. The world saw a billionaire, but in that small living room he was just a father again. And Leo, he wasn't just the boy who danced. He was the boy who reminded them all love doesn't cost a thing, but it changes everything. The moment Ella opened her arms toward the boy, her eyes lit up, not with fear, but with recognition. Her fingers trembled, slowly rising from her lap for the first time in months. She touched his hand and something miraculous happened. Her toes twitched, then her legs. The nurse gasped. Ellis fell to his knees, stunned. "She's moving?" The boy looked up, tears slipping down his dirt-streaked cheeks. "She remembered me. I used to dance outside her hospital window. Every week. The staff hadn't known. No one had. While the world had given up on Ella, one poor boy hadn't." Ellis staggered back. His wealth, his influence, none of it had done what this child had done with nothing but music and love. In that moment, Ellis didn't see a street kid. He saw a miracle, a silent promise fulfilled. "What's your name, son?" Ellis asked, voice trembling. The boy sniffled. "Jay." Ellis glanced at Ella, smiling now, moving slightly, fingers intertwined with Jay's. "Then Jay, welcome home." He turned to his staff. "Get him cleaned up. Get him enrolled. He's not just some boy on the street. He's family now." Weeks passed, and the mansion that once echoed with silence now danced with laughter. Jay, once a forgotten boy with holes in his shoes, now walked beside Ella in the garden, guiding her gently as she learned to walk again. She giggled when he spun her slowly, her limbs regaining strength with every step. Ellis watched from the terrace, disbelief in his eyes. Money had bought him silence, but love, pure, undemanding love, had bought his daughter back. One morning, Ellis called Jay into his study. "You gave me something I couldn't buy," he said, placing a small, worn pair of dance shoes inside a glass box. "These were yours. We'll keep them here. A reminder." Jay's eyes widened. "But they're old, broken." Ellis smiled. "Exactly. Beautiful things don't have to be perfect, just like families." And from that day forward, the boy who once danced alone on broken pavement now danced through life with a sister, a home, and a father who finally understood that sometimes miracles wear second-hand shoes. Sometimes the people with the least give the most. A boy with nothing but kindness brought life back into a home that everything but warmth. And in doing so, he gained not just a family, but a future. If this story moves something in your heart, maybe it's because hope still lives in the quiet corners of our world, in the hands of a child, in the courage to care, in the power of second chances. So if you believe in that power too, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe for more stories that remind us what truly matters. And share this with someone who still believes in goodness, because sometimes all it takes is one person to change everything.